As you can see from the intro today, we have a pink watch to review. I'm going to challenge my own preconceptions about whether a manly man can wear a pink watch, and one that happens to be slightly smaller than the standard Casio, as it is known. To be accurate, to jump the gun on that, it's 2 millimeters smaller. So, we're looking at the G-Shock GMA-S2100P-4A Now, when I decided I wanted a pink watch to wear, to try, I thought, let's look at Casio's website. What do they have here? Filter by pink. Got a bunch of pink watches. It doesn't look like they're really targeted for men, but there are some there that I could see myself wearing. I'm also wondering if, do you target watches for men or women, or do you make them unisex? Sometimes it's a style, sometimes it's a color choice. But I think the color choices kind of annoy me because they assume that pink is mostly for women. We have a small selection for men here, but we have a huge selection for women. They're generally more the pale pastel pink style. But we do have a unisex watch or two. No, we only have one. So after much searching for a good deal, I found this watch, which is actually targeted towards women specifically, but it does come in a pair, which is quite interesting. They decide that one of the pair is for women, and it's 46.2 by 42.9. Now, the men's watch of the pair has a small amount of pink on the watch. Let's zoom in on that. Yes, they have a little bit of pink. Thanks for that, Casio. Now here we can see the pair together. Pink one is slightly smaller, as you can see visually. And then if we look at the specs, we can see from memory that it's about 2 millimeters wider and taller. Now pink is a color that many of us in Western society associate with women, but this has not always been the case. If we look back towards, say, the 18th century, we find that pink was worn regardless of gender. Whereas in 19th century England, pink was often worn by young boys. Boys were small men, and men wore red uniforms, and so boys wore pink. Maybe less dye, right? Less expensive. But you found that most people wore white clothes because the dyes were expensive and would fade out. However, you do see portraits of children wearing pink, girls and boys. Again, not particularly attached to gender. It wasn't until the 20th century when newer chemical dyes came into production and pinks became bolder, brighter, more assertive. And it wasn't really until, say, the 30s and 40s that the marketplace decided they were going to market pink towards women. And it worked. It made marketing simpler, and we still have this inertia of boys wearing blue and girls wearing pink. But here's how it looks on my wrist. 7-inch wrist, 18 centimeters. It's your average manly wrist. And here's a bit of a comparison with a average manly watch. We've got a Timex Expedition Anchorage. That's about 42 millimeters. It's actually kind of the same size. It looks a bit chunkier. Side by side off the wrist, they do look quite similar. Timex is a little chunkier and metal. And for another comparison, we can look at your standard G-Shock Square. This is a Bluetooth model with a composite bracelet, but that's about the size you're looking at. It's actually not that big when you think about it. And now that I'm looking at it again, the pink one looks bigger to me, even though it's supposedly targeted for women. All right, enough of the philosophy. Let's get to the features. One of the most interesting features is the hand control. You can press a button combination holding mode and light, and the hands move out of the way of the digital display, so you can see it. Press it again, takes it right back. Very slowly and satisfyingly. Oh, it's so relaxing. I could watch that all day. But I won't. So, let's go through the modes. First up, off the time, we have world time. Oh, Patty, so beautiful and pink. Semi-readable. Now we have the stopwatch. We have the timer. We have 5 alarms. I never use that. And back to the time. Another handy feature, you can toggle between the date and the time. But I know you're thinking, does it loom? Let's charge it up with a UV light and have a look-see. Okay, not too bad, just the hands. But if that's not enough, it's a digital watch, so you get an LED backlight. You can see the LED display, that tiny LED display for 1.5 seconds or 3 seconds. But you can also see the hands in the middle of the night. Now, you might remember me talking about the pair of watches before. Here's the other one. And I couldn't help myself. So what did I do? Yep. Bought the pair just to see for myself, to see them side by side, to see how they look on my wrist, to see the thickness, the comparison. Looking at them, you can see they're actually really similar. But if you look very carefully at the straps, you can notice that, well, they're not quite the same width and they're not compatible. So the standard Casio strap is not going to fit on the smaller one and vice versa. Really quite a shame there. On the wrist, while it's only a difference of 2 millimeters, I have to say the men's one fits me better. It looks cool, but it's a shame that it's not inverted with the colors. I actually really like the pink colors. I think they look great. They pop. I could imagine pairing them with some matching hot pink sneakers and eating takeout at the gym. So what have I learned from this experiment? I've learned that watch companies could take colors like pink more seriously and offer them for all sizes, regardless of gender, and maybe even get rid of gendering in marketing as a whole. I mean, they're on their way there. This is a step in the right direction. What did I learn? Well, I have to wonder, was pink a color that was drummed out of me from when I was a kid? I've seen kids in daycare, all of them like the color pink, boys and girls. And it's not until later that they start to perhaps tease each other for wearing the wrong color that society says they should or should not wear. As far as I'm concerned, pink is a color. It's a wavelength of light. It doesn't have meaning attached to it unless we attach something to it. And that's what I've been working towards reprogramming myself to do. Not have a meaning attached to it and just enjoy the color for what it is.